Yeah, hi, again, my name's Lorenzo, and I'm a co-founder of Haybol.ph. So I'm going to talk about Google Maps. So who has used Google Maps here in this class? So, okay, wow, all of you. Okay, great. So I don't need to talk about anything anymore. Anyways, so hopefully I'll talk about something that you haven't heard of yet. So again, like I said, my name is Lorenzo, and co-founder of Haybol.ph. My background is mostly in Java programming, so I guess you guys are doing .NET C# stuff, so that's probably out of my league. But then more recently, I've been exposed to most of the Google technology, the app engine that Edge just mentioned, and then now what I'm presenting, Google Maps, right? So I'm just going to go through a couple of things, some use cases of the maps, and then I'll dive into detail of the map itself and probably show you some demos. So you might be wondering, so what do you guys use the maps for? Yes, apart from stalking your girlfriends or boyfriends, what do you use the maps for? Directions, right? Does it work here in the Philippines? It does? It does? Okay, so you can actually go from, say, what road to another road? Okay, it's cool. So any other use cases? Apart from finding directions and stalking, anything else? Okay, let me throw in some ideas here. Some people have used it for weather reports. So they use Google Earth, which is pretty much an offshoot of maps. And here locally, we do have the Ondoy flood maps as well. So it's quite useful. So now you know if you're buying property somewhere in that area, you might want to stay away. Oops, Ateneo de Manila Grade School. Oh. All right. And of course, they've used it for road traffic as well. Do we have road traffic here in the Philippines? I mean, do they put it online on maps, unlike in the US? No. So here's a map of San Francisco, so Oakland, Bay Area. You get to see the green lines. That means good traffic flow. But I think MMDA is doing some tweets right now, so I think we'll be working on something to get that done for the Philippines. Yeah. Other use cases, ad campaigns. So they actually use Google Maps to promote some products, like in this case, for the 7-Eleven during the presidential campaign, right? So elections. So it's a way to show some data and at the same time have your logo displayed all over the place, right? And another use case or possible use case for maps is games. I don't know if you've used, have you seen this before? Way back in 2009, but it's offline now. So, but you know the game Monopoly, right? So you buy streets, and then whenever someone drops by, you have to pay rent or something. That's where you earn your big money. So the guys in the US, Hasbro, worked with Google to come up with Monopoly for city streets, right? So yeah, so those are some of the use cases for Google Maps. Okay. So let's go into the details of Google Maps itself and you know some fundamentals on how to do maps. So when dealing with Google Maps, if you wanted to program and create your nice app using maps or taking advantage of the maps, you gotta learn how to do lat-long, latitude, longitude. So a bit of backgrounder. So basically, the latitude would be the horizontal lines. So if latitude 0, that's the equator. And does anyone know if we're north or south of the equator? We're south? Oh, we're north. Okay, good. So yeah, so the Philippines is somewhere there. So yun, we're above. So Manila is somewhere about 14 degrees north of that. And then for longitude naman, so there's actually this center line there. It's 0 degrees. So anything to the left will be negative and anything to the right will be positive. So in our case, it would be like a positive 121 degrees to the right or to the east. So that's after figuring out what your lat-long position is, so that way you could figure out which portion of the map to show or display on your page. The next question you'd ask yourself is, so I've got this humongous map, how do I show it to the user, right? So you can imagine, wow, my map's got to be like 1,000 pixels wide, right? And actually, that's not enough. So what Google does is simple. They break down the entire world into tiles, right? So, and then you only show a couple of tiles at once, right? So that's basically the trick there. It's kind of fairly simple. So as you zoom in, you get more and more tiles. As you zoom out, you get fewer and fewer tiles. Okay? So, and to do the projection, that's to map your lat long to the XY. They use some kind of a weird algorithm like that. Okay? Where it tries to think of the sphere as a cylinder instead of sphere and then flatten it out to that. Okay, so that's just a bit of a background there, or overview of how Google Maps work. So, and the Maps API, the way you can use the maps is you got about 3 options there. Static maps, where you are given actual images of the map. So you're just given one big image. You can specify your width and height and the center, which is expressed in lat long, and they'll give you a nice image for you to display on your web page. But they're static. You can't scroll left, right. You can't zoom in and out. So it's pretty much static. And then there's the JavaScript API. That's what we've used for Haybol.ph, which we'll show you later. That's where you can get an interactive map. So you can, zoom in and out and even use it on your phones. And of course, there's the third option, which is to use Flash API. Okay? Which unfortunately has some problems with some other platform using a fruit symbol. So apparently I'm using it. So let's do some demos, shall we? Okay. So we'll show you some demos. I have to switch back to my All right. Here's I've preloaded some tiles because the network is kind of slow. Notice, do you see any difference between the left set of tiles and the right set of tiles? Any difference? I mean, you guys can recognize where it is, right? Yeah. So where are we? I don't even know where we are. Okay. Anyway, on the left side, we're basically using MapMaker tiles. These are tiles that you can actually edit and add more information to, right? While the right-hand tiles, they're the regular tiles that you see, which doesn't really provide that much information. The good thing about the MapMaker tiles, again, you do have more local information. As you update this, which you can online using google.com/mapmaker. And once the data is approved, they actually are pushed out to the real thing. Okay, so basically that's it. And what else did I do with this one? Oh, and you can actually even synchronize your maps. As you move on the left, you can actually move the one on the right as well. So those are some of the, well, when you get a chance to play around with the API itself, you can actually do that. What else do we have? Oh, here, basically, I just created a demo where you can have maps, and you can have those teeny-weeny markers there colored red. So in this case, I just played around with some of the code. I can drop more markers in as I want, and I can actually make them bounce. Right? Okay. So anyways, and then I can also make them stop bouncing. Okay, because it irritates me. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, that's basically the demo, I guess. So let me go back to my slides. Yeah. So I guess that's basically it. What I have for Google Maps, and we happen to be using it for the website that we built, which is for the Philippine real estate search, and that's basically called Haybol.ph. Now, what is Haybol.ph? Because the story is like this. Edge and I, we planned to invest in some real estate property. And we had a lot of trouble trying to figure out, okay, what's the market price or usual market price or regular market price for a square meter of real estate property in this area. We couldn't get that information out. Unlike in the US, where you got a lot of search engines giving you the averages and even trends of the prices of real estate. The ones that are foreclosed, for sale, or even the ones that are for rent. So you can figure out, if you buy a property here, how much is the rental value or potential rental value for it? We had so much trouble finding it out here in the Philippines, so we thought, hey, why don't we scratch our own itch by building something for it? We actually went to the banks and offered the idea of having sort of a real estate search with maps. And we figured, well, gee, they have the money, they might as well invest in building something like that. Unfortunately, I don't think the Philippines is that ready yet So we sort of, went ahead and built one ourselves. So the idea was this. So I get this, this is some area in Makati. So it's a skyline of Makati. And I was just wondering, okay, I need to look for property for rent or for sale, and just give me the, overview of that place. So that's basically what Haybol.ph is all about. So we give you a certain map, and then you get to see, okay, some rooms are for rent here in this area, some are for sale, and blah, 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 in just one go, rather than the typical classified ad listing that you would normally get on the newspaper, and which was eventually transferred to something like Sulit. Yun. So basically, that's the story of Haybol.ph, and we'd like to show it what we have. I hope it has loaded, because I don't think the maps is loading on my end. So unfortunately, there's a bit of a problem with the network. But supposedly, you're supposed to be able to search for certain areas by, typing a certain location, be it Makati or Ateneo or LaSalle or whatever school nearby. And I'll show you the map as you would normally see in Google Maps, and then you see the teeny weeny markers for the real estate that is available in that area. Okay. So basically, and again, Haybol is running on the App Engine, the infrastructure that Edge just mentioned. So for us, we're actually operating it for free. And it doesn't really cost that much. And the most expensive cost is us, the programming behind it. Okay, so so going back to my slides, so basically, sorry, the animation just repeated itself. Yun. So basically, that was just an example of how you could use maps for whatever you can think of. Any questions? Yes, I see nodding. Yes, questions. Like who's coming in late? So yeah, no, that's not a question. Yes.
I'm just curious, why did you call it Haybol?
Just okay. Haybol, I really didn't come up with it. It was Edge who came up with the name. Haybol, apparently, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a slang term for the Tagalog of house, bahay, right? So there you go. So yeah, it's so apparently based on what local
70s slang. Like before they say, oh, parang ayoko pa umuwi ng Haybol, yung hassle yung AirPods ko. So parang ganyan yung before. Pero eventually it lost its meaning, so we decided to pick it up again. Why don't we come up with Haybol as something that's fresh? So we're trying to put that fresh spin into it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for the explanation. Thank you for the question. Yes.
How updated is Haybol.ph? I mean, if ever, let's say, one day, I'm someone who's an ordinary citizen, I own a lot in somewhere in the province, let's say, Cebu. Then I want to sell this land. How real time is Haybol.ph now?
Well, right now you can actually place ads for free. So you have properties, you can list them for free. And in terms of real time, I think it's pretty much up to date, because every time we get feeds from banks of their updated listings, we're like probably 1 or 2 weeks behind their listings. So as soon as they give us a new update, we would upload the entire, typically an Excel spreadsheet or PDF or whatever format they have. We would upload it to our data store. We'd geocode it, figure out where it's located, and push it out to Haybol.ph. So it's pretty much, I guess, at worst case, it'll be like 30 days old. But there are listings that are user-generated, of which I don't know if they're updating it, but will soon expire if they do not update it often enough.
But if you put it yourself, it's going to be there. So if you put it like right now, then you do a search, it's going to pop up.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Questions?
Do you guys have access to the Wi-Fi? We're trying to show you Haybol, but unfortunately,
the Wi-Fi is not that.
very slow.
I don't think they have.
You have internet. Oh, you have Haybol there. Yeah, come on down.
Oh, yeah, cool. So they have a faster internet. You might also use that for demo. Thank you. Yes, question.
How do you think does Haybol affect the real estate brokers? Because you can easily get prices so Unlike before, you need brokers to know what lots
Yeah.
are for sale. So how do you think it will affect the?
I think it'll kick their ass. No, yeah, good question. Very nice observation. Basically, we've had a lot of feedback with the site, and they are saying that it might change the game because now you know the pricing, if it's going up or going down, the trends like that. So I think it's a good thing. In fact, some of the real estate brokers are saying we don't want to post there because there seems to be this effect in the Philippines where brokers, they keep their listings close to themselves. They don't show it to anyone unless you're interested, which I find to be quite negative because instead of sharing the information, you're hiding it. So I don't consider that to be a good service to the Filipino people if you're hiding information, right? So I think service is all about speed. So if you can find a buyer or a seller faster than anyone else, then you should be the one to get the commission. But in their case, they're trying to hide it. So I guess the name kind of fits it well. It's kind of rebellious in a way. So we're trying to go up against the real estate brokers and telling them, hey, you're not supposed to compete with information hiding. You're supposed to compete with speed and quality of service instead of, hiding all the information. Yeah. Thanks. Yun, as you can see, we're so fast in load time. Yeah, it scales like 1,000 servers behind it. While Edge is loading, any questions? Any more questions about Haybol or Google App Engine or Google Maps? Or how you can get a free account to play Monopoly City Streets online? Or how you can get a free Google shirt or something. It's like, are you connected?
I think so. Am I connected?
Oh yeah, maybe it's a user problem,
I break whatever I touch.
Yeah. Again, any more questions? Maps, JavaScript, or Flash, or whatever you intend to use. Or if you guys have any, crazy ideas on how to use maps, let us know. You might as well put it in.
Have you guys heard of it's another Google product? It's called SketchUp. Maganda na sila dito. They went here. The Nicole's.
We used it. Our project.
Cool.
But I haven't seen any 3D buildings here in Ateneo. I checked 3D warehouse. Wala na sasabit.
National Museum.
Wow.
I was looking for 3D buildings here. I only found sa may Ateneo de Naga and Ateneo de
There we go.
And the only one sa Google Earth is the one sa Ateneo de Davao. So I don't know. Post kayo, sayang.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
There we go. Finally. Yeah, so a typical, Google Maps interface. You get to see the entire map. Well, supposedly the entire map. There you go. And then you get to see, those teeny weeny dots, and then you got those markers, blue markers. Blue are for closed properties, and then you have green for sale, and orange ones are for rent. Yeah, and you can click on the next and previous buttons on the top left, so you could scroll through the other. Can you click on the next button or yeah, click on the next. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. There you go. So you can get more properties as you scroll through. So if you don't like the maps, you can actually switch to the classical view, which is the list view. Yeah, there you go. And this is the typical stuff that you would normally see in most listings. So we have that as well. Yeah. Or if you can click on one of them, like, can you click on letter A? Like click on one of those and see what happens. And then if you click one of the properties, then you get this view of that property in detail. So contact details, and also the vicinity map, so you could figure out what's in the area, if it's near a bus station, LRT station, whatever else you want to look for. Right? All right, and if you're a broker, you can actually recommend it to your friends or on Facebook or something. There are like buttons on the top, or you can tweet about it as well. Ayun, so there you go. That's it. That's all we have. Unless you wanna ask for more. Yes.
Sir, I just realized how it could also affect real estate tax because most taxes here for real estate are undervalued. So in case it overlaps with the market value, it could affect the tax.
Yeah, that's correct. Assuming the government knows how to look at maps. but that's true. That's for you're referring to zoning, right? Zoning areas. I think the government doesn't really have geo points on.
I think someone actually told us that before na okay,
Yeah.
it might affect the way I pay taxes.
Yeah. Sure.
There's a lot of resistance. Usually if there's a new type of technology, there's usually a lot of resistance na, oh, why do I have to check my email? Pwede naman na i-check ko na lang doon sa letter box or these things. So, it's something that's old but fairly new here in the Philippines. So we're trying to break that, like, say, tipping point where people could actually accept it.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of probably making a game out of it, make a game of the generals, Google Maps kind of thing, so that it's a little lighter, so people would be a little more accepting. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this one's kasi a little serious. It affects a lot of people's pockets. So yeah, when money talks, money talks.
Yeah, money talks. Yeah.
So a lot of the information that we're showing here, it's we're siphoning information from banks. We get it from Excel, PDF. So we get that data, we run it through a process in the background. The banks don't have latitude and longitude, and long of the properties. So we parse out that data. It's a process we call as Caslonification because of the professor who came up with it, Professor Caslon. We parse out the data, we get out the components that we want, and then we geocode it. And then we get the lat and long. We store it in our database.
Yeah.
The way that we're searching for it, it's not parang, oh, greater than 120, less than 40. It doesn't work that way. Big table doesn't allow you to have two inequality operators. So you can't do greater than more than once. So isang beses lang. Pati yung not, isang beses lang. So there's a special geospatial query just to do all this, yung searching na yun. So it's something else.
Yeah. All right. Yun. Unless you guys have questions.
Let's see something cool.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.